If anyone ever asked you directions to Paradise Park, would you have any idea where to go? It actually doesn't matter because it doesn't exist anymore, but back during segregation, it was a local recreation spot for Black Americans. Many people living now in Alachua and Marion counties don't know the history, and because of that, one woman made it her mission to document and share the memories of Paradise Park. Welcome to Paradise Park. What back then was the sister to Silver Springs, back when there was a park only for white people and one for colored people. Today, these glass boats no longer tour Paradise Park, but still serve as reminders of the park's history. Not much else remains, and that bothered one North Central Florida woman the most. Cynthia Wilson Graham co-wrote a book about the park, and it all started when she saw pictures that made her curious.
I called my best friend's mother, Ms. Granville Bryan, and they started telling me where the park was, who I could contact to start the process, and then I reached out to my former school teachers.
Only to later find out that her kindergarten teacher was in a few photos herself. Wilson Graham invited former employees and park goers to Silver Springs last week to remember the time. One of the guests, a model at the time, remembers the segregated park very well.
We went and we enjoyed ourselves and thought nothing of the fact that we were on black side or we were on, or they were on the white side. That didn't bother us at all.
The river was shared by the parks, but their boat tours were taken down opposite sides. When the two parks were segregated, they shared one thing only, these boats, meaning anyone could see the river through the window of a glass boat. There were 11 lifeguards at the time and several boat captains. One captain remembers giving his boat passengers an experience to remember.
But that's all I enjoy doing, was just making somebody else happy, making y'all happy, not me. I'm saying something to keep y'all happy. That's what it was all about.
For Wilson Graham, it was all about preserving a memory for members of that community.
It's important to them that we know the history, and oftentimes the history is in their minds, but the history has not been shared with us or anyone else.
But now with her completed book, there is finally a record of the stories of that era. And although Paradise Park is missed, that generation has become accustomed to calling Silver Springs their home. And just a little fun fact about Wilson Graham, it actually took her 9 years to gather all the assets of the photos, all the people, all the textual or context and all that. 9 years, and she was still able to keep the dream going and pull it off.
What an incredible legacy to leave behind. You know, it's supposed to be really cool to, preserve a piece of history in your own community.
Definitely, and for the people of Marion County, I'm sure they appreciate it as well. Well, WUFT News First at 5 is just getting started. Coming up, politics is heating up and even boiling over the debate stage.
And have you ever noticed the thousands of paper cranes at Shands Children's Hospital? We'll share the very special story behind them.
And we've had a lot of moisture in overhead the past couple of days, but some changes are on the way. I'll let you know when this dry air arrives and what that could mean for your weekend coming up after the break. Stay with us.